How has this fandom stuff affected you? I'm trying to figure out how to word this right.
Yeah.
You know, they're all following you on Twitter. They want to know everything you're doing. They pretty much
I don't
objectify
know.
you.
Yeah. I like it. I like when we do shows and the fans show up and we go to LeakyCon and stuff and it's like fun to get to meet the fans. I don't know if I particularly engage with the Twitter or the Facebook. Like, I'm not big on that. And I think it's mostly because I don't do it myself. You know, it's like, I don't know, it's like some people use Twitter and it's almost like just for advertising, and some people, you know, I probably could say random little things on Twitter more often, but every time I tweet something and I think it's funny or clever, I get a bunch of responses that say, "Hi, I'm turning 17 today. Can you wish me a happy birthday?" Which is not the response I want. I want somebody to say, "Oh, that's funny," or "clever," or whatever. And so I go, okay, it's not really like, I honestly do have sort of a weird relationship with it all, to tell you the truth. I mean, it's like, it took me years to get onto this show because I never thought I had anything to say, really. And I sort of do, but it's all been said before, I bet. I don't know, I don't know. I probably should do it more because I have a lot of Twitter followers. The thing is that I don't really have any, it's like when I don't have a project I'm working on, I don't have a whole lot to say. Other than, oh, I'm working on a new project, but it's like too early to talk about it, or, I've been playing a lot of PlayStation recently, and that's like boring to talk about, which I have been.
I feel like they just want to engage you in any way they can. So there are, you have fans who are gamers. They would totally talk to you about PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean that's true. And it's like sometimes I talk to my friends I have about games, and then fans will sort of comment in on those little conversations, and that's fun. And I try to do that on my Facebook. I try to do Facebook a little bit more as like a place to engage. I have like a Facebook page, and I go and I respond to messages there from time to time. So I try. It's just not like in my habit. It's just I don't do it that much for no other reason than it like only occurs to me every once a week, and then I'm like, oh yeah, Facebook. I know that sounds crazy to a lot of people because like a lot of people are just Facebook always, and it's just not. I don't know. It's just not. I mean, I used to be like that. You remember, AOL, Instant Messenger, and stuff like back in the day. I was always on that, always. But I don't know. I just don't do it so much anymore.
Do you get recognized on the street?
No, not really. I've been recognized a couple times. Over Christmas, I was buying my dad comic books for Christmas. No. It was over the summer. It was for his birthday. And I was like, oh, I should get my dad comic books because he's old, and this will be ironic. And so I did get recognized there, and I got a little discount, which was great.
Nice.
And it has happened, but it's just super rare.
So is it strange for you to kind of have like a double life kind of thing where you're at these events and you have to practically have security with you to walk through a hotel lobby, and then in your everyday life it's like average?
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to go do the event. I mean, it's fun to go to those events and just have a good time and meet people, and it's exciting. And the thing is that it's not so common. I think the fact that it's not really the norm keeps it fun, because if that becomes your life all the time, you get used to it. You get used to anything that is constant for you. It's not something that I take for granted because it's not. It's like I have a pretty normal life. I just I'm not recognized on the streets. Blah blah blah. It's, I mean, tons of people who are like way more famous than me are also not recognized on the street. You know, it's like, you have to sort of go to. That's the thing about LA too, is that you see famous people out there, but then in LA it's normal to see famous people because that's where they all live. So, no, I'm pretty normal, just a normal guy living in Chicago.
Did it get redundant on tour? Because on tour that was every night.
Um, it's tough because it was exhausting. So it's not so much that it got redundant, but there were times when you found yourself uh, just like worn down because you're doing the show, and you know you do the show. We would meet people before the show. We'd do the show. We'd talk to people after the show, and you know I'd never want to be rude, or there have been times where I just did not show up after the show because
Oh, I can hear you. You're fine.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. You know, it's like there have been times where I just snuck out because I just couldn't do anything after the show because it's exhausting to do a show. It's completely physically draining. But I don't like to do that because people, you know, look forward to hanging out with us for a little bit, and it's the least I can do. And it's fun, you know, it's like nice to see everybody being enthusiastic. It's like, what more could somebody ask for? Yeah, I wouldn't say redundant so much as exhausting.
Did you have any favorite cities or tour stories that come to mind?
Yeah, well, we always had fun in Nashville. I remember on the Space Tour, the Space Tour was cool because that was my first time at most of these cities. And so Space Tour Nashville was a blast. You know, we all went out on Broadway, which is the big street, and you know that was a pretty fun night. Tomek and I, we were determined to find a cool bar, so we went to every bar on the street for a couple minutes to determine whether it was good. But we ended up consuming a lot of alcohol inadvertently, and so that was a pretty absurd night. There's really the only evidence is a picture of me and Clark at the end of the evening, totally hanging out with this plastic Elvis. It's just a picture, and we're like, yeah, Elvis, it's Elvis. That was a fun night. You know, there's this booklet we want to make, a photo booklet of Clark Baxtresser, who in every photo that we would take of him would do this. And so it's just like that same picture. I always imagine it like a flip book where it's the same pose, just like with changing backgrounds. So we have yet to make that. Other favorite cities. I remember being really nicely surprised by Charlotte. I had a blast. I thought that the people were just really cool. So that was a lot of fun. I always like getting back to Boston and New York. I'm from the East Coast, so it always feels nice to get. I always feel a little bit like we're back on my turf because everybody else, not everybody, but everybody else in StarKid is from the Midwest. So I always like to be back there and just kind of be like, you see, everyone's kind of short-tempered here. It's I'm not so weird. Other favorite cities. Yeah, my favorite city was. Right, now insert. Just a bunch of different.
I know you guys had the Batmobile in Silver Springs. How did that happen?
I don't even know. I don't even know how that happened. We got there and there was a Batmobile. I think a fan. I think a fan's dad owned that Batmobile and was like, "Yeah, I'll drive it in. It'll be fun." And I think that he had like a cab company that had a Batmobile.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Those are good photos. And oh gosh, what else? Yeah, I mean, there's tons of stories. I need to I need to like sit down and remember them. I guess I'm always better when someone is kind of reminding me.